What's up YouTube, Jeff back again, and today I've got a quick video for you guys comparing sizes with the Pixel 6 Pro versus some other popular phones. Now, again, right now I can only really show off the hardware, but I figured this would be one that people would be really interested in seeing because I have a whole bunch of different phones, and I figured you guys would want to see kind of how they compare if you're thinking about upgrading or if you're thinking about kind of side grading to a phone from another flagship coming to the Pixel 6 Pro. First of all, if you guys want to help out the channel, I'm going to drop a link below. Samsung's having an accessory sale. If you want to check those out, if you need any accessories for your phone, micro SD cards, things like that, you go ahead and check that out, and I'll have that link below. Also, if you guys want to check out and pre-order the Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro, I'll drop the links to Best Buy. They still have some of them in stock. You can pick them up. Pre-order for launch day. So the first phone that I figured I'd do size comparison to, this is the Pixel 5a with 5G. So quick size comparison to the Pixel 6 Pro. Obviously, as you would expect, the Pixel 6 Pro is significantly, I guess not significantly, not a ton, but it is taller, of course, than the Pixel 5a with 5G. They're around similar thickness. Of course, the camera hump, though, in the Pixel 6 Pro ends up giving it, a more protruding piece. The camera hump on the Pixel 5a with 5G, not that thick. In terms of width, if you actually put them, of course, the Pixel 6 Pro, a little bit wider, not a ton. Actually, it's just a sliver wider. It's not a ton in terms of the actual dimensions. So that's one that I figure people will be very interested in, just because, if you're switching from the most recent Pixel, maybe you got the Pixel 5a just to tide you over, then there's one you can look at. Here's the next one that I kind of think everyone's going to want to see. I'll probably put this in the title because this will be the most interesting. Here's the S21 Ultra 5G. Everything is 5G now, right? The names are always 5G, 5G this, 5G that. If you actually look at the height here, if you put these, try to get them as close as I can, Pixel is a little bit shorter in terms of height than the S21 Ultra with 5G. They have a very similar polished sides. You guys can kind of see that. You've probably seen that already in my previous video in terms of on the Pixel 6 Pro, but on the S21 Ultra, you can see they're very similar. And these two phones are also of similar thickness. It's kind of, or width rather. It's kind of difficult to put them back to back because they both have these huge camera humps. The Pixel 6 Pro, I guess, is actually slightly wider. Kind of hard to see exactly, but lining them up. But you can see it's slightly wider if you just take a look at that. So, but these two phones, very similar in size. So if you like, the S21 Ultra and you're worried if the Pixel 6 Pro is going to be big enough for you or too big, whatever, they're very similar in size. And so you can kind of see that right there. The next one, which is another flagship that people might be interested in upgrading from, this is the OnePlus 9 Pro. I actually don't have a SIM in this one currently. Some of these phones I have SIMs in, some of them I don't. But these, in terms of height, you can see Pixel 6 Pro, again, quite a bit taller. It's also going to be, I believe, the wider of the two phones. Put them side by side. Again, kind of tricky to do it because these camera modules stick out. Actually, they're pretty similar in width. I guess the Pixel 6 Pro might be a hair wider just in terms of real world, looking at it from a real world perspective. Of course, you once again see in terms of the thickness comparison, Pixel 6 Pro may be a little bit thicker just because of the camera hump in terms of the overall profile of the device. They also have very similar polished sides, just like the S21 Ultra. So the Pixel 6 Pro has a very distinctive design, right? If you kind of look at any other phone, the camera modules all look pretty similar, but on the Pixel 6 Pro, obviously the camera modules, quite a bit different. Just for fun, since I have them here, I'll show you guys this one as well. This is not really one that people are going to be... I have basically a skin on this because this is the Samsung leather case, which is basically just a tiny little case that's basically nothing more than a skin. This is the Galaxy Z Flip 3. So in terms of the profile here, you can see you've got... it's a little bit taller still, the Pixel 6 Pro is at the end of the day there. And then you've also got here, in terms of the width, the Pixel 6 Pro is going to be a little bit wider. Sorry for the shaking there. I'm trying out a new camera setup, and so this is just a kind of a test video for that. In terms of the width, Pixel 6 Pro is going to be wider, of course, because the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is a little bit of a sort of tall and thin phone. And then lastly, not that this one is really a comparison that anyone's going to necessarily... I don't know if you're really going to care. This is the Galaxy Z Fold 3 closed. Obviously, it's a lot thinner. And, in terms of width, the width is a little bit shorter. And if you actually put them side by side in terms of the height, Pixel 6 Pro is still a little taller. Obviously, you know when you unfold this that the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is going to be a lot bigger in terms of width because it's basically a tablet. Anyway, that's kind of the comparisons I wanted to show in case you're thinking about upgrading, side grading, any of those things. I think the one that's probably the closest in terms of overall dimensions and profile is the S21 Ultra, which perhaps that's what Google is going for. It's a little bit taller, but the other dimensions pretty similar. They both actually have camera humps that protrude quite a bit. They just shape differently. And so that's kind of a look at that. So I think if you're comfortable with a big flagship, you'll be happy with the Pixel 6 Pro. I'll have a lot more coverage coming this week, so if you guys want to stay tuned for that on the channel, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. You guys can also follow me on Twitter if you're interested, jspring86az. Again, I'll drop the link below. If you want to pre-order, the pre-order links will be there, as well as the accessories from Samsung if you guys want to check that out and support the channel. I appreciate you guys checking it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.